Hello, 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 everybody. I hope you are having a great day. I'm having a great day and happy to see you guys here. I can't believe you guys have been here for, some people have been here since 3 o'clock this afternoon. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for hanging out. What's going on, everyone? I know, I'm excited about the AMA. Listen, I know that there's a lot of people here. And what I want to do is I want to get more people here. So if you all could do me a favor, and first off, hit the like button. If we could all hit that like button, that would be amazing. But if you could also share the stream someplace where you think other people who like it would appreciate that, then that would be fantastic. I just think that tell your friends, hey, I'm excited about this stream. Come hang out with me while we watch and talk about the Stadia AMA together. What'd you guys think of the AMA? Joel Thompson, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you for the sticker. I appreciate it. Raven, I'm doing okay. It had good info. It was hard to follow. I couldn't watch it. Well, it's not really a thing that you watch. You read it afterwards. And that's what we're going to do today. The AMA was okay. It was nice to see you mentioned. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. Oh, man. Thank you very much, ESP Memes, for the hype hippo. Oh, my God. I love the hippo. The hype hippo is fantastic. Look at that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That kind of support really does help. Super excited that they plan on adding more every week. Super stoked. I'm glad they answered. Kyle's glad that they answered his question. That's awesome. What was everybody's favorite thing from the AMA? Oh my goodness, look at this dancing. What is that? Let's look at this. What is that thing? It looks like a kiwi? Is that a dancing kiwi? I can't really tell. It's adorable, whatever it is. Thank you very much, Daniel Brennan. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's right, Eric. The interview is tomorrow. It's a pair. Okay. Apparently I'm dropping frames. Hopefully this isn't happening. It might have just stopped for a second though. Google Play credits being able to be used on Stadia was your favorite thing on the AMA. How come, Kyle? I don't understand why anybody cares about that. My kids now call you Uncle Bill as you spend so much time in our living room. Hello, children. Can you ask about 1080 120 versus 4K 60? Arash, I don't know if I'm going to ask about that because I think that they have already been very clear that 4K 60 is what they're targeting right now. And increasing the resolution and frames per second is something that's going to happen down the road. And as I've said before, I only get to have a half an hour talking to John tomorrow. So I don't want to use it on something that I think we pretty much already know the answer to, if that makes sense. Oh, the play credit from surveys. I saw you guys in the Discord posting your surveys. I tried that, and I just could not be bothered to answer any of the surveys. I'm going to ask. I have a lot of questions that I'm going to ask. Austin Swift, I get what you're saying. Here's the thing, though. Asking that question about price, like, if they were going to tell us the price, they would have told us today at the AMA, and they chose not to, I think. So I'm betting that if I ask him about that tomorrow, he's just going to say, well, we don't have anything to announce at this time. That being said, if I have time, it is an important thing. I'll try and fit it in. It's a middle priority, I think. Stuart the developer. What's up, Bill? I'm late. What's your thoughts on the AMA? I thought it was good. I think that they could have answered a lot more, but I feel like there's a few questions that I don't have to ask on my interview tomorrow because they cleared it up at the AMA. Well, Eric, the thing about the Discord is that you're right, they did give a non-answer, but I think that's because they're not doing any Discord integration, and I believe that he just misunderstood what the question was asking. Goblin Lord, they've already told us that answer. If you purchase, like, let's say you buy it here in the United States and then you fly to Timbuktu and it is not supported in Timbuktu, I believe that you still cannot play it. I believe that's been answered. I asked about Linux and they answered that Chrome was going to run Stadia, but what about Chromium and other versions of Chrome? I asked about it and it created an ugly debate. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you, Stephanie. I mean, is regular Chrome not available on all distros or on the distro that you use? I mean, why don't you want to just use regular Chrome? Hey, X2I. Christopher, you can play on any computer next week as long as you are one of the first people to order it. You got to keep in mind that they are shipping them out in the order that they were ordered. So if you were like one of the first people, then it'll get shipped out on the 18th. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you'll get your email and then you can create your account. Hey, Fisto. Oh, Fisto. That reminds me. I need to make you a mod on the Discord as well. If I can find you. If I can find you. PA. There's too many people on here. All right, well, I can't find you. I'll try and remember to do it later. I got to do the same thing with Bowser 13 as well. You'll type something in Nerd Nest? All right, cool. I love the fact that we will be able to play as soon as they're shipping our founders. Well, not as soon, because Frank, remember that they're going to ship the earliest of them on the 18th so that they arrive on the 19th. And how do I do it? Roles, there we go. Moderator. Thank you, Fisto. Well, you know what, Shady, I'm gonna be honest. I read the AMA, but I haven't gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, so there might be stuff that I've missed. So that's what this stream is for. And actually, we should probably get started on it. Again, thank you everybody who's here. You guys are awesome. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. We got like 150 people here and about 60 likes so far. It really does help us if you guys like the stream. And share the stream with people who you think will enjoy it. That being said, let's get started. We're going to be talking all about that's the whole point of today, is to discuss the AMA that happened earlier today. The official AMA is now over, but it started earlier today. It said, "Hey Reddit, Andri," and I keep calling him Audrey for some reason. Sorry, Andri. Andri from the Stadia team here. I'm back for another round of questions. Only this time I'm bringing some friends along to help answer anything you may have before launch. So, along with Andri, we have Barry Lee. She says, I've been at Google for almost 5 years, and I was in mobile gaming for 2 years before that. And while I spent many hours of my life on Candy Crush, I've spent a lot of time on The Witcher and stopped counting with Destiny. I look after the publisher experience on Destiny, making sure that great content can get into the hands of millions of users in all launch countries at the highest level of quality. And then Andri says that he's Andri, and he's the director of product here for Stadia here at Google. I'm responsible for gamer experience on Stadia. He leads the team of incredible project managers responsible for core gamer features, including platform UI and every screen, store, social, family feature, as well as the controller hardware. So those are the people who we're going to be talking about today. Garvin, you didn't miss anything. We're just starting now. And they gave us some stuff they gave us quite a bit to talk about. So first off, it shows us this. Here, let me bring this up on screen. So they showed us this little streamable, which shows you how to shows you the UI for using the app. I mean, there's not a lot here, just them scrolling through. I'm just looking at the different stuff. And this is obviously an Android device, but the iOS device is going to be basically the same, because the app is made in Flutter, and I guess that makes it extremely similar. I like that it's showing here that they're playing Destiny 2, but it doesn't show what the other people are playing. I'm going to assume that they aren't playing anything, so that's why we're not seeing that. And let's go back. And to set up your Stadia controller, you're going to connect it to Wi-Fi and then link it to a screen. So we've got another little streamable. So this is going to show us how it works. So basically, it's going to connect to your phone first, and then you're going to use your phone to put in your Wi-Fi stuff, and then it'll come up on the screen as a Chromecast, or on your Chromecast, and then you input the buttons on the screen in order to link your controller to your screen, which is all pretty good. And then take your games and account on the go. So this is if you are at somebody else's house and you want to play your games on their TV. You're basically this is so cool. Your controller and your phone are now your console, and all you got to do is do the same. I just got an email from Google there asking if I have any additional questions that they can send to John. I'm going to reply to that. I'm going to reply to it right now. Just to say I will send more later. It says, "Hey Bill, do you have any additional questions I can share with John ahead of your interview tomorrow, and especially in light of today's AMA? Thank you." Let me just reply real quick. How do I want to say this? I'm looking through the AMA right now, comma, and I will send you any updates before I sign off for the night. Period. There we go. Raj, when is the iPhone app coming out? It's already out. Look, I'll show you. See right there? Oh, you can't see that. It's too small. See right there? Stadia app. Bam. It's already out. You got to search for Google Stadia, not Stadia. All right, back to what we were looking at here. So basically, you go over to a friend's house and you take your phone and you just zip it up onto their Chromecast, and now your save is with you. This is so cool. Like, this is really, really cool. And you might not even have to have your controller with you. You might be able to use a controller that's on the same Wi-Fi network. So that's also pretty interesting. Let me turn the music down just a little bit. What do you guys think of the music volume? Is it okay? Let's see. Oh, and then launch games, enjoying games with friends through Chromecast and Stadia controller. Oh, I hadn't seen this one yet. Okay, so you go into Darksiders Genesis here, and then you can see what people are playing, and you can invite people. All right, I mean that's pretty much similar to any other console. All right, let's take a look at the questions. All right, so Stadia Player 1 asked, "Hey Andre, I posted a few questions in the AMA announced post, and you already had a chance to answer some, and others that got answered by Stadia Twitter. I still have 3 questions for you. Will we have all these features available: Stream Connect, Stream Share, Crowd Play, when Stadia launches on the 19th? All right, their answer for features availability. All right, they said, our approach to releasing features on Stadia is similar to how we run Google Search, YouTube, and other Google services. Gradual rollout and continuous improvement based on your feedback. We always start with nailing the key user journey and then proceed with releasing extra features. YouTube started with watch video. For Stadia, it's play the game on your biggest screen. New features will start popping up as soon as 1 week after launch. I wonder, I'm really curious as to what that or what features are going to come 1 week after launch. That's very interesting. I expect the first game with Stream Connect to launch by the end of the year. The games that support state share and crowd play will be released next year. See, now that's interesting. So that tells me that these are things that are not going to be in ports of old games. These are going to be things that are only included in new games that have to that they might be a little harder for them to bring it into excuse me, a new game. So bringing it into an old game might be something that it just has to be designed around, and that's an important thing to know. And I wonder if that means that a lot of developers or publishers will decide not to do it because they want to make their game for the lowest common denominator. They want to make it so. Here's my example for you. And very, very big thank you to Justin for the adorable fox that is painting number 1 on a piece of paper. That's awesome. Thank you for the super sticker. All right. As I was saying, here's an example for you. Right now, there's a lot of games out there that don't support gyroscopic controls because this controller does not support gyroscopic controls. The Xbox One controller doesn't have a gyro. The Wii, oh my God, the Wii. The Switch does. The PS4 does. But a lot of developers just ignore the gyro because it's not in all of the other consoles. This makes me a little bit nervous for what will happen with Stadia down the road, because these things like state share and oh gosh, what's the other thing that I can't think of the name of it now? Crowd play, like these things, if they have to be designed specifically for Stadia, it's going to be very, very important to it's going to be important that Stadia, or that Google convinces publishers to include those features, because those features won't work on other consoles. Or maybe the other consoles will see this stuff and they'll say, hey, we should include that stuff as well. But then again, they don't own the streaming platform, so it's less likely. Anthony Talcott, Thank you very much for the super chat. It says totally worth $5 to have the AMA read to me. Thanks, man. That's really not what I'm going for here, but that's okay. I appreciate it. All right, let's get back to the question. He goes on to say, I already said that. The games that support state share and crowd play will be released next year, and of course, there are many more cool new features for the new platform featured. Oh my God, I can't read. And of course, there are many more cool new platform features on the roadmap. That's going to be John Justice's little secret whiteboard that he won't show us. I feel very much connected with you guys. Oh no, I skipped. I need to highlight where I'm reading. There we go. We're aiming to release stuff weekly after November 19th. So every week, we're going to have some kind of update. Now, don't think for a second that that means every week we're going to get a new feature. That just means that they're going to have a quick release cadence. A lot of those are going to be bug fixes and stuff like that. This is always what happens whenever you roll out a new system to millions of people. Suddenly, the testing gets real. And you start to see all of these things that you can't see when you have a small pool of people testing stuff. So I expect a lot of that weekly things to happen to be bug fixes and stuff like that. So make sure you keep your expectations in check. All right. The next question that they asked, and I don't know if we'll get through all of the questions today. We may have to do another stream on another day. Who knows? Here's the next question. It says pricing. Common sense tells us that games recently launched titles. Okay. Common sense tells that games recently launched titles will be $60. All right. I think I understand what they're saying. Weird sentence structure aside. But what about titles that have been around for a while, like Rise of the Tomb Raider or even Kine that sells for $20 US in the Nintendo Store? Bottom line, can we expect pricing to be different according to the launch date of the title? And the answer here is we believe in common sense too. You can safely assume we will stay competitive with other stores. Now, again, they're not telling us the exact, they're not telling us the price. And I don't understand why their hesitancy to say this is how much the price is, unless, you know what, I think I know why. I wonder if the publishers have asked them not to say the prices yet. And the reasoning is because they're afraid that announcing the prices for Stadia will undercut the sales on other platforms for games that are already out. I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not saying that Stadia is going to be cheaper because I doubt it. I think it's going to be roughly the same. But if the Stadia price list comes out and people were about to buy Rise of the Tomb Raider and they are like, oh, it's the same price on Stadia, maybe I'll buy it on there because then I can play it on my phone. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure why they're not telling us. Maybe they have a good reason that we just haven't thought of yet. Let's look at the next question. Is there a plan for a specific date when the monthly game, that's the wrong screen, sorry. When the monthly game we get from Stadia Pro will arrive each month? First week, second week? And the answer is we've got a lot of good stuff for you to play, but we're not going to tell you anything. So there's not much to say there. And then finally, are we going to have a Stadia Connect before launch? If so, can you tell us the date? And the answer is no. We are not getting another Stadia Connect before launch. So the thing that I was anticipating, that they would do another Stadia Connect on the 19th and it would end right when Stadia went live, that's not going to happen. I still think that it's a good idea, and I still think that Google should change their mind and listen to me, but guess what? If they were going to do one, they would have already made it. So we all know that that's not going to happen. All right, so that's the first question from Stadia Player One. Those are really good questions. The next one comes from The Middleman. They said, to quell the questions that we invariably get on a daily basis, can you give a straightforward timeline for when shipping will begin? and finish for the Founders Edition, when we'll get our activation emails, and when the service will go live, time of day. They're taking all of the things that I had to ask about in the interview away, but that's okay. I still got a lot of things to talk about in the interview. All right. So Barry answered this, and then they moved on. But then Andrea comes back later and gave a little bit more information, better information. So I'm going to skip Barry's answer just because I feel like it just didn't really tell us anything. But Andrea came back later and gave us some information. And they said the first shipments will leave our warehouse on the 18th to make sure that they arrive on the 19th. We will ship in the same order as we received your pre-orders. And then they talked about, of course, it's hard for us to predict when things will arrive at your house because they don't know when it'll get put on a truck and what the traffic is going to be like, and I understand that. And then, of course, they said the thing that makes Stadia different than everything else, and I think this is very important. They said that here's the good part. Stadia is not a box. You don't need our hardware to start playing, remember? Right after we ship your order, but not earlier than 9 a.m. PST 11/19, we'll send you an email with an invite code. So now we know the earliest that you will get a code is 9 a.m. Pacific on next Tuesday. All right, they're going to send a code. They're going to send an email with the invite code. You use that immediately to create your account and reserve your Stadia name in the Stadia app on your Android or iOS, which, again, people have been asking, when's that coming out? It's out already. All right. And then they said, just for clarity, the first day is a little special. If we ship your order on 11/18, you'll receive the code on 11/19. Okay. So what they're saying is the earliest that a code will go out is 11/19. Even if they've shipped your stuff already, you're not going to get your code until the 19th. And then after that, when they ship your stuff, that's when you get your code. So there's going to be people out there who are going to be worried about getting their name. And to those people, I understand your consternation. Just throw a dash after it or something. Who knows? I know that there are people who will say, why don't they send them all out at once? That would be fair. Well, how is that more fair than sending them out in the order that people ordered them? I don't know. I ordered mine pretty early, but when the codes come out, I'm going to be at work. I'm going to be working. I probably won't be able to sign up until I get out of work, and the chances of me getting the name that I want are slim to none. Is that a big deal? Probably not, but what are you going to do? Can I complain forever? I certainly can. All right, he goes on and says, boom, you can then play immediately on your computer, in the Chrome browser, or on your Pixel phone. You can use your mouse and keyboard or your existing HID compliant controllers, and then they said we'll start streaming bits while atoms are making their way to your house. Admittedly, the best experience at launch is a TV, 4K HDR and all, but I'm enjoying Destiny 2 on my MacBook big time. Once your Stadia Founder Edition arrives, you'll set up the Chromecast using the Google Home app and connect your controller to your Wi-Fi using the Stadia app and continue where you left off, but this time on your biggest, baddest screen. All right, that's all pretty cool. I'm glad that they've confirmed that you can play it without having the hardware in your house, although we kind of already knew that. But now we know. Things are going to start shipping on the 18th. The earliest you're going to get your code is on the 19th, so make sure that you're in the bathroom at that time. I don't know. All right, let's move on. And by the way, you guys can keep your comments coming. I will look at them as I can. If I notice something that I want to call out, then I'll do my best to do so. Okay. Tixel Pep says, Will a phone have to be used every time you try to use Stadia on the Chromecast to cast Stadia, or just the initial setup? So I think that I haven't read this answer yet. So I'm gonna guess based on the strings that I saw before is once you set it up, then you can just turn it on with your controller and not have to worry about it. But let's find out. Let's find out what they said. Barry says, You will not need your phone every time to use Stadia. The phone is needed for the initial setup and buying games. So there's an answer to a question that we had. Are you able to buy games through the Chromecast? I guess the answer is no. You can buy games from your phone, though. Once you've connected to play games, you can just grab your controller and hit the Stadia button. I do want to call out that casting from the app streamlines playing on the go. Instead of packing up my console when I want to play at a friend's place, I can just bring my Stadia controller to cast at a friend's Chromecast Ultra from my phone. When I'm done, I can close my session and my account will be logged out. And we already kind of saw what that looks like, which is pretty damn cool. I think it looks cool anyway. Let me minimize that. Are you going to record it and play it for yourself to get sleep? What? I don't understand your question. If we beta tested Project Stream and we're given the Assassin's Creed, will we have access to it on the Stadia store without the need for purchase? They gave us a copy in the Ubisoft store. I'm just curious. My guess is going to be, David, probably not, because then you're essentially getting 2 copies of the game, and they already gave you a copy of the game. Now, the response to that would be, hold on. A lot of people who tried out Project Stream don't have a computer that's capable of running that game. And that's a very, very good point. That doesn't mean that they're going to give you a free game. I don't know. Live Network, we confused them. Listen, that's not really that hard to do. Don't be too impressed with yourself. It's very easy to confuse me. All right. Let me get a drink. I can already feel my voice starting to go. So I'm gonna have to talk a little bit quieter. All right, next question. What functions will the Google Assistant button have on the Stadia controller at launch? Will it be the same assistant experience that is on my phone? Andrew says, we have many assistant features that we're planning to roll out gradually across different parts of Stadia in the upcoming weeks. On day 1, you can ask your Google Home or Assistant-enabled device, no, not the Stadia controller, to start a game on Stadia. It will then turn on your TV and get you into the game. I have to say that I use this because I have a Google Home device here, and when if my wife and I want to watch something, we just say, hey, keyword, play this on the bedroom TV. Blam. It comes right up. It's so cool. The TV turns itself on. It's like magic. If one of the kids comes in the room and we don't want, like, we don't want to miss the story that we're watching while we're talking to them, we say, hey, keyword, pause. And it pauses, and then we talk to the kid, and then the kid goes to do whatever they're doing, and we say, hey, keyword, resume. And it just works like magic. And I love that feature. And I like the idea of being able to sit down, say, hey, keyword, play Destiny 2 on the bedroom TV. And it just, bloop, starts up. That's going to be really, really rad. All right, so that's going to be available day 1. They went on to say, oh, gosh. I already read that. Where is it? I got to highlight where I read to. Stadia. It will turn on your TV. Oh, yeah, I already read that. I think it's a few days, but I need to check. You'll be able to use the assistant button on your controller to interact with the assistant while your Stadia home screen on the Chromecast. So I think that means... I don't know what that means. Fisto asks, is the game assist feature going to be available at launch? I don't believe so, no. And I think that's because it has to be built into the game, and the older games probably aren't going to have that stuff built in. I'm so confused here. I think it's a few days, but I need to check. You'll be able to use the assistant button on your controller to interact with the assistant while on your Stadia home screen on Chromecast. But what do you do with it? That's the question. I mean, do you turn on your lights in your house like you do with everything else? Or what? I'm not sure. Then it says, then more devices, PC, Pixels, and phones. Then support for the assistant during gameplay. It's easy to just slap on some voice features, but making Assistant truly helpful is a different thing. We want to get it right, so we're taking our time here. And I appreciate that, but I'm curious as to what you're going to use it for if you don't have the ability to say, hey, keyword, how do I get past level 6 or whatever it is that they've showed off in the preview. Sosteen Jaquette says, do I need headphones? Do I need headphones? I don't think that you need headphones, but I think that, it might help. Is the game assist? Oh, yeah, I just talked about that. Well, Daniel Brennan, okay, here's the thing. And this is why an AMA is not as good as an interview. Because with the interview, you can ask follow-up questions. And I'm sure that you can ask follow-up questions in an AMA, and people do, but they rarely get answered because they're usually moved on to the next question and dealing with that at that point. So when you're doing an interview, it's going to be so much more useful because when they give when John gives a vague answer, and I don't think that they're being intentionally vague, I think that they feel like they answered the question, but we're trying to think of all of these different possibilities. And so then we ask the follow-up question and they don't give us an answer because they've moved on. So that's why you definitely want to tune in tomorrow for our interview with John Justice. Now, that's not going to be live, by the way, just because I don't want to risk the internet screwing things up. So I'm not going to be doing that live, but I will post it. Like, I'll finish talking to him, I will edit it, and I will post it as soon as I can. All right, so watch this space. Also, hold on a sec. I want to say thank you to Gene Shaban, Sebastian Lackenschauer. Sorry about your name, man. I butchered that, I'm sure. Only the shipped Chromecasts will work on day one. Others will receive firmware updates soon after. Does the same hold for built-in Chromecasts? I assume so. So if you have a TV that has a built-in Chromecast, then my guess is it's not going to work on day one until they get the firmware update. And you know how Google does their firmware updates. They roll them out slowly. So, let me give you an example. I ended up uninstalling it because I was irritated with it. But the Gmail app on iOS, it has a dark mode now. And the dark mode was out for, I think it was 3 weeks. And I ended up I just said, forget it. And I shut it off and deleted it because I still hadn't received the dark mode. They roll things out slowly. Super Nintendad says, I didn't see or anything, but did they say if you'll need to wait if too many are trying to play at once? Nintendad, I guarantee that you will have to wait if too many are trying to play at once, because we saw in the strings that they have said, like, there was a string in there about that, there's too many people in your area trying to play, come back later. Now, I don't know what too many people is, but that's definitely a thing that I'm going to ask John about tomorrow. Okay. They call me Mosquito. Says, also, will we be able to select stream quality, seeing as how I don't own a 4K TV? No reason to stream for 4K. Andrew says, yes, of course. It's a simple step you choose within the Stadia mobile app. We leave it up to you to game how you want. And then they said a few clarifications. First, the Stadia mobile app is your central hub to manage settings across all screens. Use the app to set stream quality for your TV and other supported devices. Excuse me. That's very interesting. So basically, that means I'm going to use my phone. And on my phone, I'll open up the Stadia app and I'll say, okay, on the TV, I want 4K. On my PC, I want to have 1080p. On the Chromebook, I'm 720p. On my phone, I want to do this resolution. So you get to pick and choose what resolution each thing is. Now, I assume that it will also auto-detect and just pick the best resolution for you. But if you want to intentionally lower it in order to save data, then you can. That's how I read this. They also said, and this is very interesting, check this out. Second, if you choose balanced, we'll limit your resolution to 1080p max. finally, on November 19th, will be only streaming 4K HDR 5.1 to Chromecast Ultra. We know from the feedback the founders gave us that the 4K TV must be our top priority at launch. On day one, PC Chrome gameplay won't support 4K HDR or 5.1 surround sound, but in the spirit of gradual rollout, we'll be adding support for 4K HDR 5.1 on PCs in 2020. And then they have a screenshot of the data settings, which I did not see this earlier. All right. So in the app, dude needs to charge his phone. Look at that. Charge your phone. All right. So it says choose how you want to experience games on Stadia based on your quality and data needs. If you change your setting, your new setting will take effect the next time you open a game. All right, so I guess you don't get to set it device by device, but you change it as you open on different devices. All right, now we have best visual quality. That's everything that they said before. And then down here, you can limit your data usage to 4.5 gigabytes per hour, and that's 720p. That's pretty cool. Jason Curtis says, Colin, you need your invite code to create an account. Oh, you're answering somebody. All right. Thank you for answering somebody. That's very useful. Thank you. Because I can't see all of the questions, especially when I'm reading the AMA. All right. I think that that's interesting. The whole thing about 4K not coming to PCs until 2020, I bet you that there's going to be people who complain about that. I don't know what to tell you, man. Joel Mead, what's up, man? How's it going? All right, Random Individual says, is there any recommended hardware mounts that exist today that you would recommend to clip a Pixel 4 XL to the controller? And of course, you know what we saw before. We've seen this thing. Or we saw this in the tested video. There's the little logo for tested right there. It's this little clamp that clips to your Stadia controller. I like that it's got like a little cutout there. Whoops. It's got a little cutout there for the Stadia button. And the thing about this that I think is interesting is I've seen many times, where they have a thing that clamps a controller and a phone, and they kind of hold them like this. But I mean, these are heavy, and so it kind of pulls forward, and it throws off the balance of the controller. So for them to do it where it's above the controller, so now it's just floating above the controller, I think that is brilliant. And do I care about it? I absolutely do not. I am not interested in playing on my phone. Like, it is not something that I care about. Maybe I'll change my mind down the road, but this is not something I care about. However, for all those people that do, they are selling the Claw, as they like to call it. They said, we've designed a special accessory for Pixel and Stadia controller. The official name is the Claw and will be produced and are made by Google Partner Power Support. It will be sold exclusively through the Google Store and available for purchase in the coming weeks. Now, awesome, but keep in mind that people are going to make clones of this all over the place. So if you don't like the price of whatever the Claw costs, don't worry about it. If you don't have a Pixel phone, when this comes to non-Pixel phones, don't worry about it. Somebody's going to make the thing for you, and you're going to be able to use it on whatever what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever device you want eventually. Do you think Kine will be a free pro game? I don't think so, Max. I think it's one you're going to have to pay for. I don't think any of the launch games are going to be free pro games except for Destiny 2. Any news on the time for the interview tomorrow? I probably missed it somewhere. What time am I? You know what? I don't remember what time I'm interviewing him. It's in my calendar somewhere, but I'm not going to do it live, and I'm going to post it as soon as I can. But I'm not sure exactly what time we're doing it. I can't remember because I actually have 2 interviews tomorrow that I have to record. One is for this show and one is for 143 Pixels. Is there any info on if we're going to be able to stream games using Stadia or any other program to Steam? I mean, they've told us, Barton, that we're going to be able to stream from Stadia. Jay Smith, that's what I predicted yesterday, was Doom 2016 is the next free game for December. All right, let's move on to Random Individuals comment. Oh, no, we already got that one. Aaron4540 says, will we be able to earn achievements from games retroactively so that we don't have to restart our games to earn achievements once the achievement patch has been added? I'd hate to have to complete Red Dead Redemption 2 story, but then have to restart it just to unlock achievements. And the answer is you will start achieving right away. Because the games will be recording your achievements on Stadia at day one, it's just the platform UI for viewing your achievements, and achievement notifications will launch shortly after launch. I know it's something you want. Just imagine the day the UI launches, you'll have a bunch of achievements all at once, mega overachievement. And this is something that a lot of, look, the Nintendo Switch, it collects a lot of data about when you play, and it does not show you that information. But Nintendo has that information, and they can add features down the road that give you back that information and show it to you. They just haven't done it yet. And this is kind of the same thing. You're going to be unlocking all of the achievements, but they haven't made the UI for it yet. So we just have to wait until the UI comes out. Now, personally for me, I don't care about achievements. I have never cared about achievements, and if you do, then good for you. I'm happy that you're happy. All right. MJ79 says, hello, Andrew. I just want a thing. Only a little thing from you. Can you post an official pic from the Stadia dashboard with the option for quality streaming? We already saw that, so we can move on from this. Okay, moving on. That's true, Daniel. They are very, very stingy. Do you think they will have the option for a dark or light mode? I mean, maybe they will, Kyle, but I mean, the whole point of Stadia is to play the game, not to sit there and look at the UI. Think about it. When you're on your Nintendo Switch or your PlayStation, how much time do you spend in the UI? Probably very, very little. You spend most of your time in the games. So spending much, I don't want them spending a bunch of time in the UI. I want them to focus on just making sure that the games are as awesome as they can possibly be. Oh, here we go. This is a big question. Will there be a yearly subscription for Stadia Pro, possibly with a discount? Andrew says, we're on the final countdown to launch, so I'm thinking days, hours, and minutes at the moment. But we hear you. We don't have an annual offering yet, but we know it's something a lot of you want, so we're looking into adding it. This is a non-committal answer. I don't anticipate that they're going to do this anytime soon. I hope that they change their mind and realize that getting people for a year is way better. Getting people for a year a little bit cheaper is way better than getting them month to month for a little bit more. Because maybe they'll have a busy month, where they're just too busy to sit down and play a game. And they'll say, you know what? I don't think I want to keep paying for this. I can play these games for free anyway. Why would I keep paying for this? In that month. And then the next month they're playing, things let up and they have more time and they say, well, you know what? Maybe I should pay for that. Well, now Stadia missed out on a month. And if we just pay it by year, it almost becomes like an invisible purchase anymore. Like I don't think about my Amazon Prime purchase anymore. I buy it for a year and then I just move on with my life. And I order things from Amazon and reap the benefits. Disney Plus just came out. I bought 3 years worth of it because I don't want to have that monthly thing over and over. I was just like, yeah, I think that this is going to be a good deal. I'm going to buy it all at once. And I think that it would be much, much better for Google if they gave us that as an option. And I don't really get why they're not giving us that as an option. All right, this is an interesting question. That was a good impression of you. Oh, I try to do what I can. I do okay at impressions. Paul, the earliest that things will be shipping out is on the 18th. That is the earliest that things will be shipping out. Now you know. But if you want more information, rewind. If you didn't know that you could do that, down on the bottom here, you can rewind the video. Even when it's live, which is super cool. All right. QB first says, if founders decide to change their name after public release, will their new name have numbers appended to it, or will it always stay numberless? And Barry answers, as a founder, you'll be able to change your name so long as the name you'd like is still available, and it won't have any numbers appended to it. You'll have to go through customer support to do so. I'm still waffling between Barry and my usual gamer handle. That's awesome. I really like that. That's really fantastic, and I think that that's the right way to do it. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that Google's going to let you change your name at all once you make it. All right, Ponyboy 3399. I love these people's names. These are funny. 3399 says, how will Family Link integrate into Stadia? Will you be able to share games with family members in order to play together, or will I have to buy a separate copy of the game for each child? Andrew says, excuse me. Family Link is supported on day one to provide parents the ability to manage their child's experience on Stadia. As a parent, you have the controls on your Family Link app on the phone and the Stadia parental dashboard. So you don't, even if you don't like use a smartphone, you can just go to a website to manage that. That's really good. Family sharing is not supported on day one. So this is separate from the app itself. Family sharing is not supported on day one, so you'll have to buy games for your child's account. But it's a high priority feature we're planning to launch next year. So this makes me very confused. The answer makes it seem to me like we're going to be able to share games that we purchase with our family. Not at launch, but later on down the road, I'll be able to share those games that I purchased with my family. So I can say, oh, well, I bought this game. You can play it on your account because you're in my family member group, which is awesome. Kind of like YouTube. Like right now, I subscribe to YouTube Premium, and I assume, I have never even checked this. I just assume that any movies that I own, because I use Movies Anywhere to move my movies from, because I buy all my movies on Apple, and then they show up on my YouTube as well because I have Movies Anywhere. I linked my accounts through that. I assume that my kids can also see those movies, but I don't know because they never watch movies through YouTube. They always watch the movies on the Apple TV. This is just something like I'm trying to work it out like right now in real time, and I'm not sure how it works. Cora says, not all the things you purchase are eligible for family share. I've run into that on Apple as well. There are some games that you buy where on your phone where the rest of the family does not get access to it. See you later, Daniel. Thanks for stopping in. Kaylin, I don't anticipate that all of the founders codes will come on the 19th. They come as you bought them. So they're going to, as they start shipping, that's when you get your code. I have Play Movies and they are shared with my wife. Thank you very much for the answer, Andrew Wilson. So maybe that's how it'll work. I hope that's how it'll work. That would be nice. What are the top priorities for Stadia post-launch? This is from Real Advice Guy. That's the guy you want to talk to. I personally am looking forward to local multiplayer and wondering how feasible that will be. Multiple streams and controller inputs going through one data connection. Barry answers priorities. So many. Everyone on Team Stadia is chomping at the bit to get through launch, and we're listening closely to feedback. Stadia base and sleep are things I'm personally really excited about. All right. Well, that's really a non-answer. Yeah, this kind of thing bugs me with the AMAs. I understand that they can't answer some questions, and it's totally fair that they can't answer some questions. But if you're not going to answer a question, just don't respond to it. You know what I mean? That kind of drives me crazy because I look and I'm like, oh, look, there's a little pink bubble that says that this is Google employee answering a question. And then I look at it and there's no information there, you know? But I understand. They're very busy and they don't want to put the roadmap out there in front of us. All right. This one is a question I have been asked so many times, and I'm very happy to have an answer for you guys. Sloppy Lobster 72. These names. They said, hello, will we be able to purchase games on Stadia with Google Play Store gift cards? Secondly, when can we expect iOS support in the same way Pixel devices are able to play Stadia? So for the first thing, yes, you can use Google Play Store gift cards as like your credits in order to buy Stadia games. So there you go. That means, will we see Stadia cards in stores? Probably not, because you would just say, I want Google Play money, if that makes sense. Secondly, it doesn't say anything. They did not talk about iOS support, but I saw someplace else in the AMA that the iOS support is down the road sometime, and they don't really have information yet. Troggle TV says, when playing on Chromecast, can someone else cast something on it while you're playing, ending your game session? And Andrew said, can you imagine? You're sitting there playing a game, you know, you're about to beat the level, and somebody comes in and says, hey, I'm going to watch the Gilmore Girls. Bloop. And now you're like, oh, I'm dead. That would be bad. That would cause a fight. Anyway, what do they say? They said, yes, this is how Chromecast works. If someone casts something while you're playing, they'll take over the screen, but the game will keep running on our server for the next 10 minutes. So you have enough time to fight it out with your loved ones and get back to it, or just grab your laptop or Pixel phone, go to your room and continue where you left off. That's what I do when my wife kicks me out of the living room to watch a show. This whole idea of being able to transition from the TV to a laptop or a tablet or a phone or whatever, or my desktop PC, that is very, very cool. That is very cool. It's not going to be something that I'll probably use very much, but it's pretty cool for a lot of people, I think. Because my wife and I really don't watch much TV without the other person. Like, we always watch shows together. So, like, she never kicks me out to go to watch a show, because we like all the same stuff. All right. So that was Troggle TV. Let's see. Oh, Vicanova says, when will iOS gaming be supported? Andrew says, I wish I knew. We don't have an answer for you. We're going to expand it to as many devices as we can as soon as we can. My kids are being weird right now. I can hear them. Stadiacast, would you be interested in Google Stadia if it wasn't cloud and it was hardware, but it would have the same accessibility across devices? No, I would not. I would not be interested in it, because then it's just like some other console. You know what I mean? It needs to be cloud so that it can do new things. That's what's interesting to me about it. Klaus Kozlauskas. Oh my God, dude, that name is hard to say. Klaus Kozlauskas says, to be fair, someone can cast anything while I'm playing on my console. That's true. Especially if you have CEC turned on for your TV. Like, somebody can come in and hit Chromecast and it'll switch over. Kuko says, can you ask him about early access game? It will come to Stadia. I don't know what you mean. I'm not following. I'm not tracking. All right, moving on. Stadia Dadia says, first, thanks for taking the time to do this. I was wondering what kind of accessibility features Stadia is bringing at launch, and planned for the future. What about family sharing settings, parental control? Will we see something like a YouTube's Kids Library? Well, we saw from the strings before that they did have a section of games, those 1,500 strings that I talked about before. They did have a section of games that was delineated as these are games that are for kids. So that's I'm sure that they're going to have that. Let's see what Stadia official says. Barry says, we've got a great team of dedicated. We've got a great team. Sorry, I didn't mean to scroll up and cover it up. You know what I should do? I should move my camera. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I should move my camera over here. There we go. We've got a great team dedicated to creating the best experience possible for our users, including those who have accessibility needs. Accessibility is pretty game specific. So the team is working with game developers to set standards for accessibility across all games on Stadia. By the way, they did say all HID compliant controllers will work on Stadia, just not on the Chromecast. And because of that, that means that the Microsoft super accessibility controller that they made, like the really cool thing with the giant buttons on it, that will work with Stadia on a PC. And so then you can hook up whatever the hell you want and configure it on your own. And when I spoke to John last time, we talked about third-party controllers, and he said, use whatever controller you want. You don't have to worry about configuring them in Stadia. You control it. You configure it so that your computer knows what it does, and then your computer will send that information to us. Can you ask John Justice about how to use live streaming Stadia? Brandon, I'm not understanding the question. It's John Justice, not Josh Justice. I do have a question on here about streaming. It says, can I stream branded YouTube channels? Can I stream to Run Jump Stomp today and then stream to Stadiacast tomorrow? So I am going to ask about that. We'll see. All right. Let's close this. SciCube says, I would like to know what are the minimum and maximum character length for a username is. Stadia names must be between 3 and 15 characters long. So long as the characters are letters or numbers, please don't take Barry or Andrew. So it seems like you can't have like the tilde or the weird brackets, the curly brace. There's a lot of stuff that you can't have. You could just have letters or numbers. But now you know. And between 3 and 15, sure, okay. I don't really care about that. Live Network. Hey, they're in here someplace. Live Network says, hey, Andrew, will current Chromecast Ultra receive the Stadia firmware update on the 19th, or will we need to use the one shipped to us? Andrew says, on day 1, you should use the Chromecast Ultra that came with your bundle. It has the latest firmware. We will be updating the existing Chromecast Ultras over the air soon after launch. So you'll be able to use your Stadia controller to play on many TVs in your home. By the way, how many Chromecasts do you have? That's a good question. Listen, Live Network, you're here. How many Chromecasts do you have? I saw you in here earlier. Maybe you're still here. All right. When will oh, this was my favorite question. This is a funny name. I didn't read the name earlier. Streaming Garlic. Streaming Garlic says, when will superhero... I'm sorry, I got to say the name right. When will superhero John Justice be interviewing with Bill from Stadiacast? And Barry said, I just checked with the superhero himself. We set it up this morning and are looking forward to chatting with Bill tomorrow. I'll see if I can grab John to join us here today. And then I said, Bill here, give him a high five from me. And then somebody gave me a Reddit gold. So that was really nice of them. But yeah, I was very happy that they said this. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize I left the echo on, guys. I forgot it wasn't a push button. Whoops. All right. So as I was saying, sorry about the echo. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I remember now. No, I don't. My brain stopped working. I'm an old man. Oh yeah. I was very happy that they responded to this question because they had delayed multiple times, and I was getting people sending me emails calling me a liar for saying that I was going to be interviewing them. So I was very happy that they said that. So just in case John cancels tomorrow because they're launching Stadia next week, I can't believe he has time to talk to me. They're launching Stadia next week, and maybe he has to cancel because some crazy stuff happens. I understand, but people would have been like, "Yeah, Bill is full of beans. He's not doing that." All right. Frank Garand says, if I get Destiny 2 as a Stadia Pro owner, do I keep the game in my library if I switch to Stadia Base in the future? No, you do not. Well, that's not true. You lose access to the game until you resubscribe. Does that make sense, Frank? So here, let me give you an example. Let's say that Stadia comes out and you get the Destiny 2 thing, and then you get your 3 months of Stadia Pro, and you let that lapse. After that lapses, you can no longer play Destiny 2, and any games that come out while it's lapsed, you don't get access to if they're pro games, if that makes sense. So let's say that you let it lapse for 2 months, and during those 2 months, Game X and Game Y come out. Then you resubscribe to Stadia Pro. Now you'll have access to Destiny 2 and any other games that you unlocked, but you won't have access to Game X and Game Y. This is very, very similar to the way it works on PlayStation. But can you just buy the game and expansions, or do you have to buy Pro in order to get access? Oh, you know what? Let's add that as a question. That's a good question. Can you buy the games that are, Stadia Pro games? Or are they exclusive to Stadia Pro? That's a good question. There we go. Liquid Sage says, how will display work with monitor that are not 1080p or 4K, i.e. ultra-wide 1440p span across multiple? Barry says, it depends on how you've set up your screen. Most screens that aren't those aspect ratios will pillar box or letterbox to fit 1080p or 4K aspect ratio. So it seems like 16:9 is going to be the only aspect ratio that will work. I know that there's a lot of people that are going to be irritated by that. Doesn't really bother me. But then again, I don't have that kind of hardware. And if you do have that kind of hardware, then I can understand why you would be irritated that it won't work, especially if the same games work on other platforms at odd resolutions. So I don't have an answer for you. Maybe that's something that they will add down the road. All right. Maddie Power says, I would really want to know if the Buddy Pass will be given out at launch or we will have to wait some weeks to get it. Barry says your Buddy Pass will be about 2 weeks after you receive your bundle, barring some unknowns popping up, which never ever happens. Let's see. N3S Dude. Will there be Discord integration with Google Stadia? So they answered this question, and they answered it, yes, we will have Discord integration. In fact, we have our own Discord, and you can join it over discord.gg/Stadia. And a lot of people were like, holy cow, really? But I don't think that they really understood what the question was. And then later on, they said, oh, okay, it looks like my answer was a little bit confusing. And then they changed their answer. So the answer now is you can access our official Discord channel from the Explore tab in the Stadia app. And that's the Discord channel. I still think you should join my Discord instead, runjumpstomp.com/Discord. But I don't think that Discord integration is going to happen. I think that that's no longer even something that we can worry about. How many more questions do I have? I only have like 4 more questions. Man, you guys are fantastic for hanging out with me. 200 people are here. Thank you very much to everybody who's hanging out with me. I want to thank the super chatters real quick. Joel, ESP, Daniel, Justin, Anthony, John, Sebastian, and Frank. Thank you guys very much for the support, and thank you to the 200 people who are hanging out with me for over an hour now. You guys are awesome. If you could hit that like button, it would really help. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. What's it like to work with superhero John Justice? Oh, I'm not gonna. Although, okay. So first off, this is awesome. The junior Dullage says, "What's it like to work with superhero John Justice?" And that says echo fades because they know that I like to turn on the echo when I say superhero John Justice. So they turned off the echo. And then they made a joke about like wearing spandex and stuff. But the real answer, how many founders packs did they sell? They said we sold all of them. So that's kind of a non-answer, but you know, just a softball that they were somebody threw at them. Warlord Skull says, when is the next Stadia Connect? And we already answered that one, so I don't have to deal with it. JW Bro BST says, how is the Stadia team feeling leading up to the launch? Barry says, I use each of these emojis at least 10 times a day. It's the final countdown, and then now that song's been stuck in my head actually kind of all day. And then this is the last question that was answered. Rem Biko says, the controller you have in the proof photo, is it functional? For those of you that are wondering, they're talking about this picture right here, this giant controller. Is there ever going to be a similarly sized functional controller I can purchase myself? And their answer is they didn't really answer. And then I love what managed guest says. It takes the talent to dodge a softball question like that. But that's the AMA. Now, you might be wondering, Bill, what are you going to do now that you're finished with the AMA? Well, I have these questions, and I'm going to show you my questions for John Justice for tomorrow and ask if there's any that I need to add, and I may add them and I may not. All right. But these are the questions that I have for John. So, what's this? Lee Woods, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. It's been a while since we last spoke. Is there anything you weren't allowed to tell me last time that you can tell me today, or anything that has changed since the last time we spoke? So that's my first question. Well, that's a question I'm going to ask him. Probably my first one. I'm also, and if you think I should rephrase any of these, let me know. Will there be a queue to play if Stadia... Oh, the yellow ones are the ones that have already been answered, so I'm not going to bother asking those probably. The next one, what features won't be available at launch? I want to know exactly which features won't be available at launch. We'll see if they answer. My next question is, will all games be required to have controller support? This will tell us if there's certain games that don't have controller support. Maybe that, like World of Warcraft, does not support controllers. So maybe that is not going... Maybe that's a reason why we wouldn't get World of Warcraft. Can you please ask if Elastic Computing is there day one? There you go. I kind of added it in there. Blake, I already asked that last time. They're working on that. All right. Will all games be required to have controller support? Oh, I just said that. Will you separate multiplayer games based on control input type? So I think this is an important question to ask. If they have, let's say, a game where you can play on keyboard and mouse or you can play on controller, are they going to separate the people who are playing on keyboard and mouse from the people who are playing with a controller? That is a very important thing, and I hope that they do. My guess is that their answer is going to be that's up to the developers to deal with that kind of stuff. But we'll see. This is a question that I came up with that I think is pretty important. Let's say that something is a PC exclusive on the Epic Games Store. Does that prevent it from being on Stadia, because Stadia is not really a PC, if that makes sense. What is the Worm game? I can't believe that didn't get asked. Are there any plans for YouTube music integration like PS4 that lets you listen on Spotify? Whoop, I need to scroll down a little, sorry. So will you be able to listen to YouTube music while you're playing? Lee Woods, I'm not going to ask that question, and here's the reason: because Google's just going to say we like to do a slow rollout, and we don't discuss how we do our OTA updates. But thank you for the question. All right, can you use? Okay, this was already answered, so I can get rid of that. That's answered, and this is kind of answered as well, so I can get rid of that. Will Stadia allow publishers to sell collector's editions with physical stuff with Stadia codes inside? I think that's an important question as well. Google is known as a company that puts ads everywhere. Will there be ads on Stadia? Can you buy the games that are Stadia Pro games, or are those exclusively for Stadia Pro? We are like that. That came from what you guys were saying. All right, for streaming. Does the Chromecast HDCP, that's HD copy protection, affect our ability to stream it through capture card? I don't think so, because John mentioned streaming through a capture card specifically, but I would like to know if it does. Next question. Last time you said we were working on making it so we can have face cam in our streams. Will that be available at launch? We will see. And then, can I stream to my branded YouTube channels? Can I stream to Run Jump Stomp today and then stream on StadiaCast tomorrow? Hardware. We already answered that one. Next question. Can you explain the reasons that the controller can only be used wirelessly on Chromecast? I have a suspicion as to what the answer is there, but I'm going to let him answer it if he wants to. And then, when can we expect to be able to play without Wi-Fi on our phones? And will there be third-party Wi-Fi Stadia controllers? So will they allow somebody like PDP to make a controller that connects to Google Stadia through Wi-Fi? Is that something that they're going to do? So these are my questions. Quagmire, I'm not going to ask that question because they already kind of told us we're going to get our codes when our stuff ships. And he's not going to have a different answer than that. Stephanie wants to know if Chromium will be supported. All right, I'll add that in. Will Chromium be supported? What is Chromium? Michael Mooney, how about using a Nest Cam as your face cam? That's hilarious. Hold on a sec. Matthew Marceau, will more colors of the controllers come out in the future? I think that okay, I would like to know that. I don't know that I want to use any of my half hour with them on that. Quagmire, you can use any controller you want on Stadia. You just can't do it on the Chromecast because it doesn't have any way for them to connect to it. But if you want to just play on your computer, you can use any controller you want. And you can use your Stadia controller wherever HID compliant controllers are accepted. Will there be a Wi-Fi camera that connects to the controller for streaming? Oh, like the controller for streaming. I'm not going to ask about VR. They've already talked about that. Best mouse for Mac gaming for Destiny 2. And they're not going to call out a specific mouse. Andrew, I think that's a great question, but I don't want to ask it right now because they're just going to say we don't have anything to announce at this time. After the 3 months of Stadia Pro from the Founders Edition, how will they access... After the 3 months of Stadia Pro from the Founders Edition, how will they access Stadia? The same way. You just won't have 4K anymore unless you re-up your subscription. Come on in. I know I'm muted, guys. I'll be right back. It was muted because I was talking to my wife. Yeah. Oh, they said hello. She says hi. That's right. I was talking to Sundar Pichai again. Will they make an SDK publicly available outside of their partner program for indie startups? My guess is that's something that's going to come way down the line, Blake. Will Stadia autosave progress if your connection cuts out, or will you lose progress after that? Okay, that's a great question. Will Stadia autosave progress? Copy. That's a great question, Max. Paste without formatting. Confirm if the controller will rumble. I don't need to confirm that. We've got the strings that have indicated that it will rumble, and people who have had it in their hands have said that it rumbles. So we don't have to worry about that. Will the controller be able to store the credentials of multiple Wi-Fi networks, your own home as well as a friend's home? Okay, I could throw that in the hardware question. How many can the controller connect to multiple Wi-Fi points other places? There we go. That's good. The offline dinosaur was online in the AMA video. I know. Control Shift V. Oh, I always just right click to paste without formatting. When will we get the first sneak peek of the first game being developed from Google Game Studios? I'm not going to ask that because he will simply say I can't. I don't have anything to announce at this time. S1 says, are the Stadia blades powerful enough to run all games at native 60 FPS on the server before streaming? Will Red Dead Redemption 2 run natively at 60 or 30? All right, here you go. Here's the question, or here's the answer to that question. I spoke to somebody from Google. It's not really an answer. All right, I spoke to somebody from Google. And Here's what I said. I said, hey, can you tell me if Red Dead Redemption 2 will be 4K 60? And here is the answer. It says Stadia Pro runs games in up to 4K 60 frames per second. Up to. Any specific questions on resolution of Red Dead Redemption 2 on Stadia should be directed to Rockstar. So we can stop asking Google about what is game X or game Y going to be running at. Hang on. Oh, okay. Let me just minimize that. Oh my God. What is happening with this? Let me close this. I get too distracted. Close that. All right. So if you want to know what resolution and frame rate that a game is going to be running at, you have to talk to the developers right about it. So if you want to know that answer, don't tweet at Google. They're not going to answer. Ask Rockstar about that. And yes, the stream will be at 60 frames per second, but you may be playing the game at 30 frames per second because they're just sending you every frame twice. Which I think is weird. I don't know why they would do that. Why not just send it at 30 frames per second if that's what I'm playing at? Anyone enhance on the reflection in Bill's eyeballs to see what the rest of that email is up for scoops? Don't look. At Rockstar. Where's the frames, bro? I thought there was something about Google's side. It was 120 and they repeat frames, so it's faster. Yes, they do that, but they might not be able to do that with every game. Ender Assassin, they've already said that, yes, you will be able to use Google Takeout to get all of your information back out. Soundwave, every game is not 4K 60 on Stadia. They go up to 4K 60 on Stadia. That is specifically from Google themselves. All right, guys, I've been live for an hour and a half now. I'm going to get out of here. Stay tuned right here. I will post make sure you have the bell. Click subscribe and hit the bell, and of course the thumbs up button. And as soon as I have that video, the interview edited and uploaded, you will be among the first to know. I will premiere it so that we can all watch together and you guys can chat along with it, kind of like a live video, even though it won't be live, kind of like the last couple of videos that I did. And make sure that you tune in to Stadiacast on Sunday. Lloyd will be back. He'll be back. Thank you very much, Klaus Kozlauskas. Lloyd will be back on Sunday, so we will have so much to talk about at that point. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You're awesome. Don't forget, subscribe to my other YouTube channel. Let's see if this works. !YT. Is it going to work? It doesn't work. Go subscribe to Run Jump Stomp on YouTube. All right? I'll see you guys. You're awesome. Bye-bye. Oh, you know what? Before I go, I'm just going to thank a bunch of people. Joel, here, let me thank the awesome people who used super chats. Joel Thompson, ESP Memes, Daniel Brennan, Justin Coingshoff, Anthony Talcott, Jean Sebastian Lancashire, Frank Garand, Lee Woods again, S1, and Klaus Kozlauskas. Thank you all for your support. You guys are fantastic. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.